Good morning. It's Chris with City Girl Homestead and
Driver Tom.
Tom's driving so I can do my Thankful Thursday. So we're headed to Truefant first. We want to go get one of those big muskmelon if they still have them.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a surprise for AJ on Little Dusty's last night. It's a trash can, but it's the globe. And it's got a world map on it. It's really cool. AJ's really into maps, and I thought he'd like it. So, it was for $15. And that's Tom's fault. He told me to bid that high. So, while we're at Truefant, we are going to see if we can find the truck that Emmy wanted. Because I don't believe in doing for one kid and not the other. So, we're going to see if we can find that one truck that Emmy kept going back to. So
he didn't have the money for.
That he didn't have enough money for, and we weren't going to cave in that day. But now we need to match something with AJ. So we're going to, sorry about the bumping, you guys. So we're going to look for that truck today. So anyways, and then we're going to go pick up some, then we're going to go pick up some hamburger and other stuff from Meijer. And then Tom's going to go hopefully finish that job today. Anyways, so I decided today we're going to do something on sharing. Because after doing that video on, them coming down on that guy for giving away his canned goods and stuff, it really got me to thinking about, as a community, as humans, as people, we need to learn to share and to be good to one another and all those good things. So I have 9 verses. I know there's a few of you that don't like a lot of verses, but this is what I think would be best for us today. So the first thing I want to do is take it to prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for everything that you do for us. Thank you for everything that you allow us to do and to become and to be. Thank you for wrapping your arms around everyone that needs help, whether it's financial, emotional, security, whatever it happens to be. We ask that you also be with the families in Minnesota that lost their children and have injured other ones. Please be with their families and wrap your arms around them. We ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so the first verse I got is, let's see. Okay. Hebrews 13:16. Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. And I truthfully believe that. I believe that God likes when we do good. Does that mean that it's going to get us into heaven? No, it doesn't. But does it mean that it looks good in your eyes, God's eyes, other people's eyes, and in the people that you help? Yes. 1 Timothy 6:18. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. And I think, there's a lot of really rich people out there that don't do anything for anybody. And like Tom has a cousin that she just really hates rich people. But there's a lot of rich people that actually set up schools and food banks, and they do all kinds of really, really good things. And so I think there are people with money that do good things. You can take it down to 70, honey. Luke 3:11. Whoever has 2 tunics is to share with him who had none, and whoever has food is to do likewise. So, like my grandfather, for instance, and matter of fact, Tom's dad would be the same way. Tom will verify that. If someone needed a coat, and if my grandpa had one, he would give it to him. And your dad would too, wouldn't he?
Sure.
And just like food, we had leftovers last night. We had 2 pieces left. And I didn't want to go into the same situation with the homeless that I only had 5 dishes and there were like 20 people. So we actually took it down to Jimmy last night, and he's like, thank you. I think he hasn't been anywhere in a couple days, so I think he's probably broke. So he was probably happy for the food. All right, the next one is sharing with those in need. Isaiah 58:7. It is not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house. Is it not to share? Okay. I don't know if I'd bring the homeless into my house, but I will definitely share my food with them. And I don't give the homeless money, do I, Tom? That's a no-no. My son will, but I don't. And I'm not cutting on the homeless, so let's not take it that way, but a lot of them are addicts, and I won't give money to support that. I will support them being able to eat, but that's it. Proverbs 22:9. The generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor. And if you ever notice, like, I don't know if you guys remember the story that I told you. I was down in Detroit area, and I pulled into a gas station, and I didn't have any money, you guys. I was broke. And I seen this girl crying, and I asked her, she was pregnant, and I says, what's wrong? And she says, I've been trying to get a hold of my mom, and I can't get a hold of her, and I ran out of gas, and they want me to move my car. And I says, well, I don't have much. I says, I have $5. I said, will that get you home? That was before gas is $3 something a gallon too. But she's like, you don't have to do that. And I said, yeah, I do. So I went inside and I paid for the $5, and she's like, thank you. Well, a couple of days later, it's back when I could walk better. I was walking around and I seen something on the ground in the gutter, and I picked it up, and it was a $50 bill. And that got me and my kids through the rest of the week. Someone must have been at a party or something, dropped it out of their pockets. Well, it helped me and my kids get through a week, which was great. So sometimes, there isn't a payment back for what you do, but sometimes you're rewarded in other ways. Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens. In this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And I think that is not just with God. If there's somebody, like, if you ever see a reel or something and it says, this guy was $2 short for his groceries or whatever, and then somebody stepped up and they paid for it. Or, somebody is short of, a cup of sugar, or whatever it happens to be. Somebody needs some clothes, or they just need a few bucks to get through the week, or whatever. I think that it's not just to fulfill the law of Christ. I think it's to fulfill the law of humanity. Sometimes people, are so independent, and they do so many things for themselves, that sometimes they just need that little bit of a hand, a little bit of a boost, so that they can get to where they need to go, so that they can do what they need to do. Well, me and Tom did one day, didn't we? We gave a guy, we put our card in. His car was parked there. He said he had to get back to Grand Rapids. Would we put $10 in his tank?
Yeah.
But he was right at the gas pump, and we pumped it directly in there so that we knew he had gas. So I don't think he'd be wanting somebody else's car filled up at that point. So I think, and if he got back home, that's great. We've pulled over on our way to church. That was a couple, remember, and they were walking. Yep. And we seen that their tire had gotten flat or something. And we took them up. We were just a couple minutes late for church, but we took them up to the gas station. They go, well, we'll walk back. And then we're like, no. We'll take you back. And we took them back. And, we were like, 5 or 10 minutes late for church. But you know what? It got those people on their way. So when you can help, it's not all about just God's law. It's human law. It's being human and, having compassion to share and to be good to others. Spiritual sharing. 2 Corinthians 1:5. For just as we share abundantly in the sufferings of Christ, so also our comfort abounds through Christ. And I agree 100%. Not only is it good for God to see you doing all those things and helping and doing whatever, but do you know, whenever you do something good for someone else, do you ever notice how good you feel afterwards? Sometimes I think that, like when we go give food down at the homeless, I feel so full. And Tom can tell you when they see my car, they come up, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's like whatever she's cooking, grab it. And, you know, honestly, it made it a joy to cook. Not just for Tom, but to be able to feed them too. Now, when I only had 5 dishes and there was 20 people, that made me feel bad. I go, I want to go home and cook more food. But then there might have been more afterwards too. So, you know, I did what I could do, and Tom was like, you did what you could do. But it still makes you feel bad. Philippians 1:5. Because of your partnership in the gospel of the first day until now. Because of your partnership in the gospel from first day till now. I haven't read any of these, so, you know, I guess it is a partnership in some ways if you think about it. And honestly, again, I don't think it's just through God, do you? I think it's a partnership that, you know, if you do this and someone else does that, and it comes out, and, you know, whether it's work or relationships or, you know, church, if you work together with a partner, it always comes out and gets done quicker, I think, and sometimes better. All right. 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace. And I agree. If, like we talked about the rich people, if they have money that they can help them, I'm not saying donate your time and money to the point where you're poor. I'm not saying that at all. But even the person that has nothing, you know, you can smile. You can open a door. You can, you know, give a sandwich to somebody. There's so much that we can do. It doesn't matter what our financial status is. Donate your time. Time sometimes is the most precious commodity. I remember being a single mom, and believe me, time was a precious commodity. You're so busy, you know, trying to raise your kids and work full time and, you know, cook and clean and do all those things, that time was the last thing that I could afford. But, you know, I always tried to make sure that my kids could do something, you know, to donate, whether it was clothes or whatever, so that we could always, you know, I wanted my kids to learn to give. And I want the same thing for my grandkids. And Tom's a very giving person too, aren't you? They can't hear your head bob.
They can't hear my head bob?
No.
Okay, bob.
Anyways. So today's not going to be that long of a video. Obviously, we're not cooking anything. But I just wanted to say, you know, from that video the other day, it really upset me because, you know, when you think about it, he can't even give to his own family, or he's breaking the law. That is just absolutely nuts.
It's absurd is what it is.
It is. And, you know, honestly, we have a cottage law here too. So, like, I'm not supposed to sell or distribute anything like that either. But let me tell you something. If someone comes up to me and they're very hungry, and I have a couple of meals in a jar and I can get a family through a week, believe me, Tom's going to go downstairs and he's going to grab my jars off the shelves down there, and we're going to feed a family for a week. You know, I'm just, yeah, nobody's going to tell me that you can't help feed somebody. And then Uncle Charlie was telling me that actually in their one city that you can be fined for feeding the homeless. Isn't that crazy?
Very crazy.
I don't understand that. Maybe it's because they don't want them in the one area or something, but yeah, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, Dad used to raise turkeys for the homeless, for the shelters.
Yeah.
Then they said that he had to have all the drugs and stuff into them
Oh, yeah.
to keep them where they're supposed to be. And he quit doing it because it cost him too much money.
Yeah.
Can't give it away free. We got to spend $100 on them.
Yeah. So they do come up with some crazy laws, but I know my group, you guys are wonderful, giving, awesome people. And if you have the opportunity to share or to do something good for somebody, don't let somebody tell you that you can't. Don't stop being human. Don't stop being Christian or whatever other religion that you are. Remember to always help if you can. I mean, don't put yourself in the poorhouse. I mean, that's not good. But, you know, do what you can do. And just be a sharing, giving, loving human being. And, you know, it might not get you to heaven, but I'll tell you what, it'll sure make you feel good on the way. So, we're almost to our exit, because we're going to take the right exit this time instead of the one that GPS tells us to do. So, wish us luck on finding that truck for Emmy and getting a big, juicy, yummy muskmelon. That's the most I've ever paid for a muskmelon.
I know, they're really good though.
$6, but you guys, it was huge, and it was so good.
The size of a basketball.
Yeah, it was the size of a basketball almost, yeah. It was really good. So, you guys have a blessed day. Be a blessing. I'll see you at supper tonight. And just keep being you guys. You're amazing. You want to say goodbye to everybody, Tom?
Goodbye, everybody.
You guys have a blessed day.